All right, this is putting in a 275 gallon cistern for temporary water. I have a brook here, or a mountain stream. I don't know what you want to call it. It's not really a brook, but this is all loam, believe it or not. It's probably about 2 feet deep roughly. And here's a giant tree. You can see by the size of the 5-gallon tank that's on it. Boulders. There's my cistern floating in the pit that I dug. And you can see where I'm doing all this digging. And it's going to come around here. Come around this old tree, that stump that's going to have to come out. That's a monster. That'll have to come out, and then it goes all the way up here to my bulkhead. Bulkhead is way up there, and that's where the brook is actually coming out from underneath that giant rock and filling up. I don't know why this auto stabilization isn't working too good. But I dug that trench yesterday. I have a black pipe connected to that, trying to divert some of the water away from the bulkhead. And it's coming down through the hill. It's still flowing pretty good. I'm getting about maybe a gallon a minute out of this thing, which is pretty good. Yesterday it rained, so usually it's about a gallon every 2 minutes. But that's what I got going on, and I'm gonna use that. Like I said, there's a fill right there on the side. I have a vent, and I'm gonna use this as a 275 gallon temporary fill tank. And I have another one. I might take it and connect it to the other one, and then I'll have over 500 gallons of water for temporary, because I'm going to buy a 1,000 gallon multi-tank that I can bury in the ground here and then leave over the winter time. But this will get me going for what I need. There up on the hill is a bulkhead collecting the brook coming down from the mountain, and that's a plastic bulkhead. And then I dug out these trenches here, this long trench. I'm getting about a gallon per minute right now. I've got a 100-foot black pipe connected to that up there. And let me see if I can walk through this. This is all loam, believe it or not. There's loam and rock. There's about a foot to 2 feet of loam here. Just trying to get it to dry up a little bit. And then I'm walking up here. You can see the bulkhead where I connected it to the with some hydraulic cement, 3/4 rock, crushed stone, and more cement, a plastic liner inside of this. Try to catch the water. It's overflowing now. I gotta get some more hydraulic cement for the corner here where it's weeping past, and flowing here. So what it's going to do is going to come out of the black pipe. The black pipe is going to go to a filter unit that I built, which will have 2 filters inside of it. I'll show you a picture of that afterwards. This is going to have a black water pipe, thin wall water pipe. It's going to come down, and it's going to fill 2 cisterns right now, which will be temporary, so I can have water to water the blueberry bushes and other bushes I put in. This is a giant tree that the lumber company cut out and left the root for me, so I'm going to have to attempt to get that out of here at some point. I'm going to bust loose this section here to let some of this water out, try to get some water out. This is about 3 feet deep right now, and this thing is actually floating in the hole that I dug. So this hole is going to be bigger. I'm going to put another cistern next to it, connect it to this 275 gallon tote, and the tote will have a outflow, so the water doesn't get stagnant in here. Now that up there is where we buried a bunch of stumps, and eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to have a Ross multi-tank in here, which is 1,000 gallons, and it'll be a direct burial, and I won't have to worry about the sunlight. So all right, next video after this. So what I'm going to attempt to do with one hand here is get some of this dirt out of here that's creating a dam and get this water to break loose. So hopefully I can get this thing situated a little bit. Try the other hand, maybe a little bit better. So we've got this here. Turn this, be able to scoop this out. Actually, I'm going to have to turn the machine up a little bit and get this a good pole. Oh, we got something going on. A stump or something. Or turn this a little bit better. Probably rocks. Easiest to do it one-handed. Well, we can see we busted loose. Drain some of that water out of there. So of course that's going to head down that way towards the camp. Here, not my camp. So that's his problem. Take this bucket out, some of that mud out of there. Same thing. One-handed. Should get rid of some of this a little bit better. Oh yeah, there we go. So we got some flow going now. Anyway, we'll shut this off. So what's going on is I have the cistern. The cistern was floating in the pit that I put in. Obviously you can see there's probably well over 1,000 gallons there anyway of water just from filling overnight. So this is my temporary cistern. I'm going to dig another one here, connect the two together, so I'll have over 500 gallons. They'll be connected together, and I'll have a vent on one of them, so the water, the excess water, can drain out. And this will be a temporary setup for now before I get the multi-tank. Okay, there's the bulkhead. There's my 1-inch hose, thin wall PVC flex hose. It's coming down the pit, and then what I'm going to do is I built this. So we have an in-tank, inflow adapter that I put in. I got this container at Harbor Freight. It's got a screw lid over here. It's going to screw closed, preventing water from coming in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bury this underneath the ground. And what's going to happen is the water's going to come in here. And what it's going to do is I have two filters in here. They are on 3/4 inch PVC. It's drilled out. The water's going to come in here. It's going to fill up this container, hopefully. I've got to probably adjust these holes a little bit and maybe try smaller holes. I'm not quite sure yet how this is going to work. I'd like to create a better flow out of this so the whole filter gets utilized. Maybe I'll have to take one filter out and just use a one filter system. I'm not sure yet what's going to happen. I'm going to tape these off with tape to try to adjust it so I get enough water inside this container so it fills up and utilizes both filters. This right here is my overflow, which is down here. So if it gets too much water in it, it's gonna fill up this overflow and then push it out. And this, of course, is my out and my overflow. So here's my out right here, and if we look inside, that's connected to my filter system, and the filters slide right over a 3/4 inch pipe. I've got 1 inch couplings attached to this unit, and again, I got this whole thing at Harbor Freight, and it's made by, that's a Gamma C lid, but this whole container, I don't have a, unfortunately I don't have a label on this, but they sell it for storage feed at Tractor Supply. Okay, that's where I'm at. Alright, what I figured out is I have one filter now, not two. That way this allows the housing to fill up mostly all the way. I've drilled out 4 or 5 holes in the filter pipe and situated the filter on top of it, and it's definitely filtering. I think what I'm going to do is put a cap over the other one. That cap that there is removable, and you can see it's definitely filtering out. So my next step is going to attach the pipe to the cistern. Okay, I've got filtered water coming out of the pipe already, and the filter's way up there, coming down the trench, and I'm going to hook it up to the temporary cistern. Hopefully I can get the multi-tank in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to give it my best. And this is the mess we've got going here. If you want to see some serious mud. Muddy loam, actually, which is kind of cool. So hopefully this will dry up at some point. And this is why this tree was so big, because it had so much water all the time. And you can see all down in here where the ferns are. They go all the way down. There's actually a pit down through the woods there where my neighbor was illegally taking water off my property with a well he put on my property. Okay, back at it. Okay, so it's filling up slowly. I had to bend the pipe and put a small tree under it to hold it up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pipe in straight and get an angled coupling. Take the angled coupling and then go up with another piece of pipe and have 2 45s and then go up straight up the side of the tank. That way I don't have to do this setup. The tank is still floating. It's got about a foot or so to go down, 1.5 feet. That's as deep as I could get it right now because of the water situation. So as you can see, I had to get the machine and try to get the machine out of this mess that is here. So again, there's the filter. I ended up going with one filter system. The other pipe is basically not drilled. I drilled a few of the holes out in the other pipe, and I will just adjust that as needed. So hopefully this will get this to dry up for a few days, and then I can get back at it. And here we go. There it is down in the distance. So I'm going to take A garden hose with a high flow capacity pump off 110 volts. And I'll run the garden hose to a spigot over in that direction. And then I can just power it up with underground power and be able to get water when I need it. That's the plan anyway. It always could change. I'm still waiting for this to dry up a little bit. The tank is filling up. You can barely hear it. And then, of course, whoa, this is pretty deep. Pretty mucky stuff here. Wow. Yeah, I guess I gotta let this dry up a little bit. Probably about 6 feet of muck. So, standing in the water, you can see it goes down pretty deep still. Starting to settle in. Open the lid. And it's filling up. So, we shall see. I've got the overflow pipe heading out. I gotta get a couple more couplings. That pipe is actually gonna go down in this pit. I've gotta get some more elbows because that's what's happening without the elbows. So I'll get a few elbows and then that'll head down in that direction, and couplings, and that will go underground. And hopefully this will dry up, and obviously I'm gonna have to try to get this stump out still, so it's gonna be interesting. So maybe I'll leave this overflow pipe out for now, because if I put it in, it's probably going to get destroyed. So, but that stuff's going to be a project. So that's where I'm at. Well, good morning. It's the following day after trying to put the cistern in. Getting that, I guess you can see it in the distance there. And big project trying to get the water kind of under control here. So, starting to drizzle out, and just take a quick walk down here and see what we got going on. Maybe we're in for a surprise, maybe we're not. That's the remainder of the black plastic I got on a roll and cut up for the cistern. Well, the water collection bulkhead that I put in. Eventually, probably not today, but I'll explain this a little bit more in detail so you can see what's going on. This is the big rock outcropping I have, and what's happening is on the side of the hill here, mountain, whatever you want to call it, is a small steady stream that kept coming down and collecting here. There was some sort of a trench here, and it had been here probably for, I don't know, a long time, let's put it that way. And it was getting a constant flow of water through here. And the excavator came in and dug this deeper and left all this debris for me when they took the trees out, which of course I have to clean up now, which is a complete mess, but it is what it is. But anyway, getting back to the bulkhead, I'll go nice and slow, so we'll switch back over here. This bulkhead is made out of a 50-gallon barrel. I'm trying to put this up, you can see what's going on. So, it's I just don't want to fall in here. It's a 50-gallon barrel that there's a good YouTuber that shows you how to cut it up. And what I did was I modified a little bit. On the front of the barrel is my 1-inch adapters that go out. That is actually that black stuff right there. He suggested using rubber washers. That actually is flex tape to prevent it from leaking on the front of the barrel, and that's squished in between the two flanges that I have connected to that front of that barrel that's been cut up. And I let it sit in the sun while in my driveway and put some weight on it so it would make it flex out. Initially when I did that, it caused it to curl a little bit, so I had to bend it back. Okay, I'm going to move this tarp back so you can see what's going on. Alright, so what's happening with this is I sunk the bulkhead I built into the ground, and I reinforced the area with rock to hold it in place. Initially I put down some hydraulic cement around the front of it, and it continued to leak underneath the hydraulic cement. So lesson learned, I pulled it back out, and then what I did was I reset the bulkhead, and then I lined the whole bottom of the bulkhead with this thick black plastic liner that you can buy from Home Depot or Lowe's that comes in a 50-foot roll, 100-foot roll, and I believe it's 8 mil. I believe it's 8 mil anyway. So it's a thicker black plastic. So I put the black plastic in, and then I put some more hydraulic cement around the bottom. I put some 3/4 mix hard pack driveway stone dust and stone in there. And then I put more hydraulic cement around the edges to keep the water from trickling down between the plastic, where I couldn't get the plastic against the rock to seal correctly. So I put that in, and now it seems to be flowing down fine. I've got the 1-inch pipe down at the bottom. That goes into 1-inch couplings. I have to clean this lens for a little bit. Okay, let's try that. So I've got the 1-inch couplings going through the bulkhead, and I've got the 1-inch overfill at the top. I don't think that's ever going to fill up. And I drilled a bunch of 1/4-inch holes in the pipe. Now at the top of this is going to be a hole that's going to stick out of the ground. Not a hole, but the hole in the pipe that's going to stick out of the ground. I'm going to cap that off. I'm going to fill the rest of this up with more stone, but it will be hopefully washed river stone that I'm going to have to collect, and that will help keep the dirt and debris from going in there. I'm also going to cover it up with the remainder of this black plastic. Black plastic will go on top of the stone, and maybe I'm going to put some mesh, some wire mesh in there over the top. I'm not sure. And then this will all get covered up, and you won't be able to see this at all. Now, of course, yesterday I showed you what was going on with the black pipe. I'm wearing my sandals this morning, so I'm not climbing down in there. So that's not going to happen. My boots are completely muddy, and they're still not dry from yesterday. That's my collector. And the filter, I'm sure, is working well in there now. I went to a 1-filter design, and again, I bought that box from Tractor Supply. So I'm going to climb down here a little bit better to show you what's going on with that. I just don't want to go in this mud. So anyway, that's this whole setup. That came from Tractor Supply. So you've got the in, which I'm going to adjust today. I'm going to put a 1-inch elbow on that, so it goes down and comes back up. That will change the flow of the water a little bit and make it go a little slower. That is the overflow. I have not connected the overflow to the 1-inch pipe yet. That will be today. The output is coming on the bottom. And then, of course, let's take a look in this today to see if this is working. This will be buried in the ground. So I'm going to have to adjust this a little bit, as you can see, because it's going to need, it's definitely filtering. I'm going to have to put a couple more pipes in there, not pipes, a couple more holes in there to control the amount of the water going through the filter. And I'll mess with that a little bit today, and I'll probably put the other filter in. It's just about to the top of that, so maybe I'm going to need a couple more holes in there. It's definitely filtering the debris, which is what I want. Let's see if I can get this cover back on without falling in my face. Alright, so we've got that situated in, sort of. Let's get that cover spun back on. I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take another 50-gallon barrel and situate it over this whole setup here. And that will protect it when I backfill this and give me access to this whole setup. And of course, being thick plastic like that, it won't go bad. I am definitely not walking down in that area to show you what's going on. So we'll have to see if I can get over this stuff, this mess here. I don't want to walk down in here. Let's see if I can get to this stump. That will give us a better view. So I can get over this mess. This, of course, needs to be backfilled. This was all filling with water. This was a 8-foot wide trench that was about 16 feet long that I filled with stumps, and it was completely full of water. So let's take a look at this and see what's going on. And I'm sure some of it's going to be a little wacky, but okay, there's the container. So the container is definitely not level, because I couldn't level it out because there was too much water in the pit yesterday. But definitely the water's gone down, as we can see. In the distance, I can see the black outflow pipe is actually dumping water. So the setup's going to work. I just got to do some adjustments. It's an easy way to say it. That black pipe is going to be adjusted. It's going to go down and then up, which will change the rate of flow again with each bend I put in the pipe. So I think I'm going to have 3 bends in the pipe, so it'll still push it into the tank. It'll just fill up more slow. And I'm going to end up putting another tank next to this one. I just have to mess with this a little bit better and try to get the water out of this hole so I can come up with a flat bottom. And again, it's raining today, and anyway, this will dry off in the next few days, hopefully, somewhat, and then I can tackle the situation. But the outflow pipe looks about 50 feet from the tank is definitely working. The fill pipe is definitely working, and I'll extend that outflow pipe way further down into the woods so it gets the water away from this hole, and then that's where we're at. So eventually, when I fill this in with fill, sandy fill, a lot of this water that's just runoff will stop coming down this hole and eventually dry up. At least that's the plan. And then at some point I can get to that loom down there and have plenty of loom to use.